You know what really disappoints me sometimes? I don't get many video responses. I don't know why. Maybe people just don't want to associate themselves with a stick figure. The thing is, I'm sort of an internet bully, let's be honest. I bully people on the internet, but I say it's for a good cause. But it's also for my own entertainment. And when I respond to other people's videos, I'd like for other people to respond back to me. That way it doesn't just seem like a one-way beatdown. Also, it adds a bit of flavor to everything, you know? Anyway, I don't get many responses, or maybe I'm just not aware of them, except there are a few, but they're generally so bad that it's not worth my eyeball energy. For example,
alright, this is Dr. Guyman, and I'm 18 now, so I can, cuss and stuff. Okay, but anyway, this is a response to, Professor Stick video. We're gonna be defending Genesis apologetics today.
Yep, that's right. This is the type of stuff I get. A guy in a silly disguise who is obviously playing some sort of character makes these types of responses to me. I don't like giving this guy attention, but his videos are so silly I have to show you at least a few segments.
Humans have a few vestigial organs that are in direct corroboration to what evolution states. For example, your brain. But we don't see this in just humans. We see vestigial organs all over the animal kingdom. Flightless birds no longer require their wings, but those wings did serve a purpose in the past.
Okay, so first of all, fact check. According to an article on labroots.com written by Zon Pham, that's Xuan spacebar Pham, the human body needs at least half a brain to survive. So when you say creationist brains are vestigial, what you're really saying is that creationists are not humans, and you want to kill us all by removing our brains and replacing them with bullets.
Of course. How could I have not realized it myself? I actually wanted to remove your brains, despite the fact that, I really wouldn't find anything there. Silly how that's not what I was thinking, nor did I say anything to imply that, but now that you've mentioned it, that's exactly what I wanted to do. Brilliant analysis. Except for the fact that, it was meant to be a quick insult towards creationists. I'm that type of person, by the way. I love jabbing people, verbally. Put them on a rotisserie and give them a quick roast. I prefer my creationists well done. Okay, I have to explicitly say I'm kidding, otherwise you'll think I actually cook people. The only thing I cook are the tears of flat earthers and creationists. It's a good source of NaCl. As you are watching this video, I'm actually collecting your tears in my little tiny cup as we speak. Oh, but only if you're a creationist. Atheist tears are too manly.
I'm sick of all these atheists threatening to take away our human rights just because we don't bow down to their political agenda.
Okay, we're not even talking about politics, first of all. We're talking about the existence of an invisible sky daddy who watches your every move and every thought. Which is, the silliest thing ever, but it has nothing to do with taking away your human rights. You can believe whatever you want as long as it doesn't bother me or anyone else. That being said, I'll be voting for Andrew. I'll be voting for Andrew Yang. Oh wait, he dropped out a while ago. Darn it, I really thought this would be the first step for Asians to take over America. I'm kidding, alright? I'm kidding. We'll do it in 2024.
You threaten me, you threaten my brethren and my family and my kinfolk, and you expect the media to just let you get away with it?
Yes.
Second of all, flightless birds, such as penguins, do still use their wings for important tasks, such as swimming and hugging each other to keep warm. So when you say penguins' wings are vestigial, what you're really saying is you're plotting to chop off penguins' arms so that they drown in cold water and never get any love and die alone because nobody can hug them, because nobody has arms because you chopped them all off.
I'm trying to make this into a funny video, tell a few jokes here and there, but at this point I think we're all a little bit tired of this guy. I mean, it's obviously satire, and I've collected enough creationist tears to last me a week, so I think we can move on now. I'm just gonna pull out a few random videos. Here's a guy who responded to me, and his video is over an hour long. Wow, that's a long time! I mean, do people even still watch YouTube videos that are that long? There's so many things you could do with 1 hour, like take over the world. Us stick figures would only need that much time to destroy the human universe.
Greetings, flat earthers and realists alike, and groblings, if there are any groblings watching. Then we're going to listen to Professor Stick, who very kindly, for his viewers, portrays things like emotions in the simplest possible way so that his viewers can keep up.
Hey, My viewers are very smart. I'm sure they all have at least double-digit IQ.
And I'm just going to show this now, and then I'm going to close this because I think it's going to be using resources. This is called aquacalc.com, where you can see how much various different things, what the weight or mass. Yes, that's right. They are interchangeable, you know.
No, they're not. Sometimes you can use them interchangeably in casual talk, but in scientific terms, they're very different. Except for a specific instance in which it is 0. So basically, if you looked at your brain, the weight and mass are the same. Yep, that's right. Weight is dependent on gravity, mass isn't. So if you were on Earth, your mass would be the same compared to if you were on Mars, but your weight would be greater on Earth. Easy to understand, right?
I have here 1 cubic meter of lead. Kilograms, 11,342. Okay, so I'm going to close this and now go back here. So here we go. That, by the way, is an iron ball and a football. The iron ball landed much sooner, much earlier than the football.
And if you keep playing it, you'll see that your brain landed last. Okay, that's enough. Of course, an iron ball is going to land first. It's not full of air like the football is, in which the air is actively counteracting the fall of the football. The mass has to be considered then because you have to measure the forces against each other, which is dependent on the mass. Now, if you kept playing that video, you would see that they did another experiment, this time dropping a car and a tire. They landed at the same time, surprise, surprise. But because the tire is much heavier, it has a greater force than what the football had, so it could counter any opposing forces to a greater degree. Therefore, its acceleration did not significantly reduce. I didn't show the clip here because the clip is from some show and I'd rather not risk a copyright strike. Now, air is something we very much have to consider when conducting these experiments. As we can see, it can skew results. However, if you drop objects in a vacuum, they will always, without a doubt, land at the same time. Here's a video showing just that. In fact, there are so many videos on YouTube in which they drop a feather and some ball in a vacuum and you can clearly see they land at the same time. Air resistance is just too unpredictable sometimes.
Turned out the heaviest object landed first, so they then go on to compare with 2 heavy objects because they say, well, what happened was this. Air resistance kicked in with the light thing, like the ball. Air resistance kicked in. The other thing that had roughly the same size, air resistance did not kick in. So it looks like air resistance is about as arbitrary as gravity.
Neither is arbitrary. Air resistance is hard to intuitively predict sometimes because you can't possibly measure it, especially since it applies different forces to different objects. The only way to hold this variable constant is to conduct the experiment in a vacuum chamber. Where has that been done before?
We're going to go into Professor Stick, who I said, you know, we have to value his genius at using an image, you know, to retain the attention of the globelings, okay?
I mean, if anything, the stick figure is kind of boring.
You know, let's think of it this way. Sound waves require a medium to travel. In this case,
that's right. So in my drawing, I have a medium in which waves can travel.
it's air. Sound is basically a compression of air that travels as a wave away from the source. The air
Great theory. Carry on.
in the atmosphere is part of the Earth. When the Earth spins, the air spins with it. Otherwise,
that's right. Oh, wait. I won't do so much cutting. Let's just listen to him.
Yeah, just play my video without interruption. My voice is so much sexier.
sound is basically a compression of air that travels as a wave away from the source. The air within the atmosphere is part of the Earth. When the Earth spins, the air spins with it. Otherwise, we would have devastating winds that would destroy everything. Okay, because the air is...
Oh, wait. What about the high winds in the south and the north that go eastwards faster than the rotation of the Earth? That kind of poo-poos your theory.
I mean, if you think wind that travels eastward is automatically faster than the speed of the Earth's spin, you'd be deceiving yourself. Movement must always be considered in a relative manner. There is no absolute. You make the same mistake that many other flat earthers make because you can't seem to grasp the concept of relativity, despite it being one of the most basic concepts in physics.
along with the Earth, that means sound cannot lag behind the Earth's spin, because the sound uses air to propagate. So as long as the air isn't lagging behind the Earth's spin, neither will sound. And you don't feel any wind when you're sitting in a car with its windows rolled up, do you? So
here's a great example. Instead of testing with, say, very long trains that travel very fast and speak at one end and at the other end, or something to see whether the concept is true, let's make it a car. Let's say a car.
It's the exact same with the train. While you're sitting in a train, assuming the windows and doors are closed, you won't feel any wind. Just like in a car. It doesn't matter what example you use. Sitting in an airplane, you won't feel any wind. Amazing, right? It's like you deny everyday phenomenon because that's just how desperate you are in trying to prove your flat earth hypothesis. Next you're going to say that the earth itself is an illusion and is actually flat in reality or something like that.
I hope you realize that your argument has very little to do with the Doppler effect. The Doppler effect talks about the apparent change in frequency of a wave for the observer due to relative motion. You were talking about...
No, it doesn't. It's not apparent change. It's real change. Like a decibel meter would detect it. It's not subjective to the ear of the human. It's not an apparent thing. It's not of a subjective phenomenon. It's an objective phenomenon. Never mind.
It's not objective, it is apparent, because the frequency change also depends on the observer's movement, not just the source of the wave. So when we observe the Doppler effect, that in and of itself is subjective because if we were moving differently or at a different speed, the wave frequency would be different. Educate yourself.
I do want to bring up an observation that supports a round Earth that was mentioned by Vsauce, and this is the Eötvös effect. This is the fact that...
The Eötvös effect. This is the fact that, and here comes something that's not a fact,
become lighter and heavier depending on its movement eastward or westwards on the Earth. When moving east, the object increases its centrifugal speed, so it is able to escape the Earth's gravity just a bit and becomes slightly lighter. While moving west, it has the opposite effect and the object becomes slightly heavier. This effect is only possible because the Earth is spinning counterclockwise when viewed from above. On a stationary flat Earth, this would not happen at all. I'd like to see you flat earthers debunk that one. And this time, try...
Okay.
Oh, I can't wait. No flat earther has even attempted to answer this one. Let's see what he says.
Let's bear in mind this. The Eötvös effect also says the Earth rotating towards you makes you have to aim high on a target, and if you're facing the other way and the target is rolling away, kind of from you, but not from you, but just then you have to aim low. That's right. That's the Eötvös effect.
He doesn't even address the point. And, he doesn't have much time to think because he's doing a live recording of this. So he's like replaying my clip here multiple times so that he has just a bit more time to understand what the Eötvös effect is. Meanwhile, pretending that he's playing the video for his viewers' sake. That's kind of sad, but oh well. Flat earthers have no grasp of physics anyway, so I understand if it takes a bit of time for you to understand what I'm saying.
Now, I'm going to rewind to a point earlier. He just said, this happens because the Earth is spinning counterclockwise when viewed from above. Does it spin counterclockwise when viewed from above the North Pole? Because this is being viewed from above the, Antarctic Circle. See how that's Australia?
Yes, it's counterclockwise when viewed from above the North Pole, so it's clockwise when viewed from above the South Pole. That's exactly what the diagram there shows. See that arrow? That's clockwise. Oh my god, I can't take this guy anymore. Thanks for watching. Shout out to Fireshard, Liam, Don Jessica, and Joe Goldenberg. Bye bye.